The city of Philadelphia, like I said, there are a couple of things going on there. One is a campaign that was kicked off, and I talked about this a few shows ago, called Reclaiming Black Dollars. And what this is, it's a program put together, not a program, it's a movement put together by Bob Law. Some of you may remember Bob Law, Night Talk in New York, one of the preeminent talk show hosts in the country. And a brother named Norm Bond, who is the head of the National, it's not association, Alliance of Market Developers in Philadelphia, and a sister named Sarah Lomax Reese, who is the daughter of Dr. Walter Lomax in Philadelphia. She is the general manager of the radio station WURD, and Dr. Lomax owns the radio station, so it is the black radio station in the whole state, in the state of Pennsylvania, right there in Philly. Those are the main three. Of course, I'm working with them as well, but they're over there together, so they are the main three involved in this movement to reclaim black dollars and to bring more attention to how much money is being spent in black media. And we know that we fall well short when it comes to how much money is spent in black media, you know, for advertising as opposed to the general market. So there's a movement there to bring awareness around that issue, but at the same time to get black folks to take on our responsibility of supporting one another and rechanneling some of our $1 trillion every year to black-owned businesses. I was on a conference call with Bob and the rest of them on Saturday morning, and we talked about where the campaign is, where it's going, what they're going to be doing over the next week or two. And there are some suggestions that came up that could be implemented in other cities. And the whole notion is to get black consumers to pledge and then to follow up on their pledge, because, you know, if we stop at pledge, it's not going to happen. To follow up on their pledge of spending at least $20 a week at a black-owned business. Now, I understand in some cities that may be a little difficult because we don't have a lot of black-owned businesses. But in a city like Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York, places like that, no excuse. Now, Cincinnati, we've been pushing that for a long, long time in concept. It's really going to depend on black consumers if we are willing to follow through, to make the sacrifices, if necessary, to spend more of our money with black-owned businesses, thus circulating those dollars a lot more than we do currently. There's this movement around the country called local vesting, local investing, that's what it means. Invest in your local neighborhood, invest in your local community. And the statistics prove out that $1 spent locally has the impact, the economic impact of $3 in a local community. Now, this is not a black movement per se. This is a movement by people who understand the power of a dollar and understand the importance of supporting one another, all right? We talk a lot about it. We've had all kinds of movements and initiatives about recycling our dollars, and yeah, we need to do this and we need to do that. But it's amazing how little we have followed through on these things. So I am really encouraged by what's going on in Philadelphia with the team there, and I trust that other cities will pick up on what they're doing. If we would spend $20 a week at a black business, imagine with that 3-to-1 ratio of economic impact, imagine what we could do for ourselves. And that's what we should be willing to participate in, something that's going to help us, and we can do it ourselves. We don't have to reach out to the government. We don't have to worry about anybody coming in and blessing it or having a meeting, a series of meetings about it. We just need to commit to doing it. And let me point this out. Once the consumers get involved in this campaign, in this movement, and start doing that, spending $20 per week at black businesses, then in turn, or I shouldn't say in turn, simultaneously, the black businesses that receive that support, they have an obligation too to spend some of their money with other black businesses as well. So it just doesn't stop with the consumer walking in and supporting a store or a restaurant or some other kind of service business owned by black people. That owner, those owners have an obligation as well to go out and recycle some of those dollars back to other black businesses. And once we get that going and we reach critical mass when it comes to spending with one another, imagine the economic impact, overall economic impact that will accrue to black consumers and black business owners. Again, it gets to what I've always talked about. We support our businesses, then those businesses can grow, and when they grow, they can hire our children, our people. That's the way other groups do it. That's the way we should do it. So I encourage you to investigate the Reclaiming Black Dollars campaign in Philadelphia. You can even tune in to the Word radio station in Philly on the internet, WURD. Just look it up. I think it's 900 AM in Philly, and listen in for any events they have. They have things going on the weekends, and just trying to get people to engage in this movement. And it is a movement. It's not an event. We're not going to change our position in this country through events. There have to be movements that we are willing to sustain and make sacrifices to maintain if we're going to move forward. One way to facilitate the black spending campaign is through something called cash mobs. You may have heard about cash mobs. They've been implemented across the country, not by black folks, but by other groups. And it gets back to this effort to spend their money locally. So part of the Philadelphia campaign is going to be cash mobs as well, where the cash mob, and it could be 20, 30, 40 people, they would all pick a time to go to a business at once, like a store to, I don't know, if there's a grocery store, if there's another store that has consumer packaged goods that people might want to buy. But everybody would go at once at a certain time of the day, say on Saturday at 2 o'clock, everybody shows up at this business and spends some money. Those are cash mobs, and people are doing that all over the country because they recognize that if we don't invest locally, if we don't keep our money as close as we can to the local economy, then the big corporate chains that have really no interest in our local economies, except how much they can get out of it, they're going to benefit, but we're not. So the cash mob it's a fun kind of thing. People go to restaurants, they go to clothing stores, they go to card shops, they go to bookstores, all at one time and spend. Can you imagine as a business owner, 20, 30, 40 people coming in at one time, and each one of them is going to spend some money? They're not coming just to look or sit around. They're coming to buy. They're coming to spend. So that's something that we can do in Cincinnati. If someone wants to initiate that, I think it would be a good idea. Transportation, you could pool your cars, and everybody would pile into 2 or 3 cars or SUVs and go to this business that's been designated and spend some money. Now, we spend money all the time, so don't start crying broke and, I don't know if I could do that every week. Just sit down and think about, matter of fact, don't think about it, just write down all the money you spend every week and see if you can find $20 to spend with a black-owned business. That's all the campaign is asking for. So I encourage you to look at it. I encourage you to go on the internet. You can go to normbond.com. He has his own website, and there's information on his site about it. There's a Facebook page about it. If you just Google Philadelphia Black Spending Campaign, Reclaiming Black Dollars Campaign, you'll get to where you need to go. But I encourage you to look it up and consider doing the same thing here.